welcome! It's the third month in the year, and I haven't changed my setup. So, I think it's time to change that. Since this channel has started with pre-gear content, and still is, why not make a cure? I have a form of identity crisis, so I'll use my existing Sona, Icha. She's already a magical girl, but what if she was a cure instead? Green. Out of any theme I want to have on my cure design, I know I want her to be green, or at least as green as I can add in a design, that is. The first design I came up with, I thought since my username has coffee in it, I should add a coffee element. So, this design is based off of avocado. It's basically coffee with ice cream. And as you can see here, she has a mint chocolate chip ice cream motif. You can see it in her hair buns and her skirt. She also has some wafer rolls in her design as well. I just thought it looked cute. Plus, I can incorporate it in her design as striped socks, which I did. The other brown colors on her design is to indicate that she is based off of avocado, but honestly it looked more like dripping chocolate sauce more than coffee, and I am trying to make it look like coffee that is drippy, hence the shape of the top and the overskirt. And the other elements are just there to complete the look, like the lime. I just like limes. For days, I am happy with this design, but then I realize I'm not exactly satisfied with it. So I scrapped it and start over. Her second design has a theme focusing on moths. With her hair, I tried making it shaped like moth wings, especially those moths with a more triangle shaped wings. Her tiara was inspired by Kier Scarlett's tiara, but also Disney Rapunzel's tiara. I like the shape of it, but I failed to execute it in her design. Now for her dress, I took a lot of inspiration from rhythm gacha games, especially Project Sekai. As you can see, here's me comparing aspects of her design to the inspiration. Her design also has some parts that are glittery. Yeah, I'm trying to make it look like glass candy, sugar glass cookie being my main inspiration for this design, of course. But honestly, if I had chosen a better color for her fit, I would probably liked it better. And since this year's pre-gear theme are detectives, I also made a chibi drawing of a detective version of this moth design. I liked this color palette better, but alas, I scrapped these designs as well. I know I should have done this from the start, but I finally searched for design inspirations, mainly from green magical girls and idols from medias I know, like Magia Record, Precure, Pretty Rhythm, Aikatsu, and etc. But I am still stuck. And so I think again, what type of cure is she going to be anyways? I looked up some past cures and movie cures design for some inspiration. Then I rethink of the theme once again. I ended up still using the moth theme and the candy theme, but I chose a different approach this time. Starting with her dress, the first dress I thought of is a dress with butterfly motif instead of moth motif to see if I like it. In this design, I'm going for a more asymmetrical approach, but it never made it to the moth stage where I draw the moth version. Then maybe I try designing a more generic poofy magical girl dress. The third one, I try to incorporate the candy theme more on the design by adding the round candy as the skirt and ruffles, lots of ruffles, as the wrapper. And I was onto something here. And on my fourth concept, candy is not only the skirt, but also as the sleeves. And I chose a simpler shape to replace the more difficult ruffles as the wrapper of the candy. And I am happy with it. Moving on to her hair, the first choice I made is to just give her hair antennas, similar to Mew Lettuce from Tokyo Mew Mew. Then you see it slowly turning into a side ponytail. Then I shorten it a little and see if adding accessories would make it look better. And finally, I ended up with one longer ponytail and one shorter ponytail with a swirl at the end and antennas, making it look like a butterfly head. Maybe if I change the antenna shape, it might look more like a moth, but it's too late now. And finally, her color palette. Gosh. I tried on combos I thought would look good. Then I ended up picking the color palette of B. But I tweaked her hair color a little to have the green gradient. And now, for the final reveal. Here it is! I kept some elements like her tiara and effects on her emerald parts. Her candy parts also has a glass-like effect to try and mimic the look of those candies. Cure Parfait is a main inspiration, especially with her skirt. And yes, her top is also inspired by Cure Sky's top as well. And after all the things that happened, I'm proud to say that I am satisfied of this design. Lastly, for her name, I did not give her a Cure name that started with Cure. Instead, I got inspired by the early and experimental Cures, Shiny Luminous and Milky Rose. And with that information, I gave her the name Sugary Emerald. Combining sugary, the theme of candy, and also part of my username with emerald, my birthstone and probably my favorite stone. And with that, we are at the end of the video. Thank you to the 170 plus people that have watched me in what I call my pilot stage. Without you, I may not even be here right now, and I am not good with words. But going to the point, I hope you'll still like the videos I made in the future, and I hope you'll still like me too. Alright, that's all from me. See you again!